Hello, thank you for dedicating your time and showing interest on today's presentation on the application of the United Nations Framework Classification UNFC in the context of solar energy projects in Chile. All of us, to one degree or another, are familiar with the concept of resources and reserves. Similarly to when we feel hungry, our society is always thinking in terms of available quantities, time, and processes. Converting resources into reserves is like processing ingredients to make a meal. And for that we need projects. Developing a project requires effort, and therefore we need robust systems for managing not only the available quantities, but also their uncertainties and risks. Our focus today is on one such critical system, the UNFC, which sets the standards for projects' technical feasibility, economic viability, and sustainability. I am Enzo Aconcha, an experienced subsurface geoscientist dealing with oil and gas exploration, resource development, and assessment of subsurface uncertainties and risks. I have audited and certified reserves and resources evaluations, adhering to standards such as the Petroleum Resources Management System, PRMS, here on your right. In my recent work, I have focused my attention on integrating decarbonization strategies into resources management systems. Today, I showcase the integration of solar renewable projects. Current resources management systems are specific to jurisdictions, industries, or products, mainly catering to internal project stakeholders. The UNFC was initiated by the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe in 1997, aiming to harmonize these systems and offering a universal framework for comparing different energy projects. The UNFC has provided bridging guidelines and examples for the solid fuels and mining industry and for the oil and gas industry. This research extends the promotion of UNFC into the renewable industry, where a similar system is currently lacking, and builds on successful applications in the geothermal and bioenergy sectors since 2016. It also establishes the first case studies for solar, aligning with the latest applications guidelines released in 2018. Wind and hydropower are just waiting for a similar fate. Because UNFC is a stakeholder system, this research seeks to demonstrate independent and reasonable project representations are possible without direct owner involvement, and by doing so, assessing the robustness of publicly available information and its value for stakeholder engagement. UNFC breaks down a project assessment into three dimensions. The G-axis for product quantity estimates rank from most certain G1 to mid and least certain G2 and G3. The F-axis, the project technical feasibility, and the E vertical axis for project sustainability, including environmental, social, and economic viability. Our goal is to gather resources with our projects in the dark blue box on the bottom floor and transform them with projects into reserves in the green boxes on the top floor. Colored boxes illustrate the project's maturity journey, along with its product quantities G1, G2, and G3. Once a project alternative is chosen, the project will mature with a limited resource assigned in the red boxes, and leave behind non-developed resources in light blue boxes. Then the project will ascend during construction and operation based only on the technical feasibility and its environmental, social, and economic viability. During operations, magenta boxes keep track of what has been produced until the date of the evaluation, and counted separately for sold quantities and internal consumption, while the remaining resource quantities are accounted for in the green boxes. The application of UNFC is specific to a project, a product, a reference point, and evaluation date. For this case study, this represents a solar hybrid plant based on photovoltaic and concentrated power technologies, electricity, including energy and capacity, the power plant substation connected to the national grid, and 3 evaluation dates. The System Advisor Model, SAM, from the National Renewable Energy Laboratory is used for the technical and product quantity modeling axes F and G. Meanwhile, assessing project viability in the vertical axis E involves discounted cash flow analysis along with information from the owner's sustainability reports and environmental permits. Research literature and industry benchmarking reports provided valuable insights helping to constrain both technical and economic conditions. Our original owner and developer, Abengoa, started the project concept after the 2013 tender call by the Chilean Economic Development Agency, Corfo, and the Inter-American Development Bank for the first concentrated solar power project, CSP, in the continent. The 10 square kilometer lease on federal lands sits 1,500 meters above sea level in the Atacama Desert, a region well known for the best solar irradiation and the driest conditions in the world, coupled with very low social and environmental risks and impacts. Despite these prime attributes, the project is more than 1,200 kilometers away from Santiago de Chile, which poses challenges due to limited transmission lines and increased risk of electricity curtailment. The tender resulted in Abengoa initiating Latin American first CSP plan for $1,100 million, boasting the largest thermal storage capacity today, with 70% of the land dedicated to CSP and using the remaining 30% for a photovoltaic power plant for an additional $200 million. Today, the Cerro Dominador solar project is owned by Grupo Cerro, and all its electricity is supplied to the national grid, represented by the yellow line on the right picture at the Atacama 1 substation. The 100 megawatt photovoltaic power plant is characterized by its simplicity and reliability. Utilizing proven concepts and technology, it features 392,000 modules adjusting dynamically to the sun's path with the help of 630 mechanized trackers. This results in the capture of exceptional global horizontal irradiation, GHI, averaging 7.3 full load hours per day. The generated direct current is efficiently converted to alternate current using 100 central inverters. Subsequently, 50 transformers step up the output voltage, and at the Atacama 1 substation, the electricity integrates with the 50 Hz 220 kV national grid. In contrast, the 110 MW concentrated solar power plant involves more intricate technologies and design choices that are still in their commercial infancy. The circular solar field is designed with 10,600 heliostats pointing to the central tower receiver, where a flow of molten salt is heated up from 290 to 565 Celsius degrees. A series of pumps will circulate the hot molten salt between the tower, ground tank, and red and orange lines, enabling thermal utilization for 17.5 hours and effectively allowing the plant to be base load. Whether the sun is present or not, a series of heat exchangers transfer heat from the molten salts to the water-based loop in the power block, colored here in blue. The steam ranking power block utilizes proven technology to send high pressure and temperature steam to a two-phase turbine and cause the rotation of its shaft connected to a power generator. The generated electricity then flows to the Atacama substation to connect to the national grid. The steam exits the turbine and is cooled down at the dry cooling condenser to repeat the cycle. Evaluation dates were strategically chosen and aligned with major project decisions, marking crucial phase boundaries. For instance, the execution phase, which was anticipated to span 3 years, as marked here by the red arrows, had its start with the construction activities and concluded with the commissioning and registration of the power plants in the electricity spot market. Project milestones are important to gauge F and E axis feasibility and viability. Securing the land lease, obtaining permits, finalizing the power purchase agreement, and initiating construction propelled the project UNFC characterization by the end of 2014 to top floor green boxes. Yet, the subcategory 1.2 is utilized to distinguish the project maturity status from the top status 1.1, reserved only for imminent production. Challenges surfaced during the execution phase, leading to financial difficulties and Abengoa's bankruptcy protection. During this time, EIG took ownership, The EPC was restructured with Acciona, and historic financing for the CSP was closed. By the end of 2018, the PVP plan achieved top maturity status 1.1, while the CSP achieved 1.2 as construction recommenced and debts were cleared. Fast forward to the end of 2022, the PVP plan has been operational for over 4 years and the CSP plan for over 15 months. The hybrid project has reached the top of maturity status green boxes 1.1. Let's revisit our project comprehensive characterization across these 3 key evaluation dates, marked by green boxes on the top floor. Subcategory 1.2 distinguishes projects awaiting sanctioning and production from those feasible and operational projects receiving status 1.1. The table presents remaining product quantities with varying uncertainties. G1 for the most certain, G2 for mid, and G3 for less certain estimates. Pre-operations. As 2014, these quantities represent the project's lifetime budget around 33,000 gigawatt-hour. While in operations, as seen in 2022, this budget is progressively consumed and the cumulative quantities balance is updated annually. The system also keeps track of the produced and unused quantities. Project owners are empowered to track initiatives at various maturation paces and apply aggregation rules for shared maturation status, as you see in the all row for 2022. This is very valuable for portfolio management and allows Grupo Cerro to oversee this project alongside others in its pipeline. For external stakeholders, these 3 assessments may not fully capture the project's journey maturation and execution risks. Fortunately, UNFC facilitates robust project tracking, offering a historical view without requiring new quantities modeling. In other words, changes primarily result from risk appreciation and maturity status in the E and F axes. For instance, in 2016, with the project halted, a temporary shift occurred to the yellow boxes in the mid-floor, without changing the G assessments. Once the contingencies were addressed, the project reclaimed its top-floor green boxes status. Following this progression, Grupo Cerro can continually aggregate projects to represent regional, national, or international portfolios. Likewise, institutions such as the Ministry of Energy and the National Commission of Energy could construct a national system maintaining an inventory of the energy projects. Lastly, Grupo Cerro could leverage UNFC to integrate additional products such as private power purchase agreements with the mining industry, heat and steam products, or even green hydrogen. The UNFC characterization of this case study was possible thanks to the Chilean transparency policy called Energía Abierta, championed by the National Energy Commission and the Ministry of Energy. These 2 institutions become ideal stakeholders for further adoption of the system in Chile. For independent evaluators, such as my role during this research, public data from other federal agencies like the National Electricity Coordinator, the Environmental Evaluation Service, and the Long-Term Planning Office, alongside the sustainability reports from Grupo Cerro, several subject matter and industry experts, and benchmark agencies provided value in the model constraints and assessments. Here is the importance of circling back to these stakeholders and including their collaboration to improve the assessments obtained in this work. For Chile, the UNFC can provide high value to manage the potential renewable resources. As mapped here by the Long-Term Planning Office of the Ministry of Energy, this potential sits at the UNFC bottom floor blue box waiting for technical feasible, economical, environmental, and socially viable projects. This renewable energy endowment is contrasted by the country's dependency on foreign energy and its associated price volatility. A quick view of the primary energy matrix for Chile in 2021 shows that the country's demand was only covered up to 27% with its own energy production. for some sources, such as coal, there is no production at all in the country. In the power sector, this is exemplified by the 76 terawatt-hour annual demand covered by 45% fossil energy, and acknowledging that most of it was from foreign sources. As noted with the 2035 projection, Chile's ambitions indicate a strong commitment to a fast transition from fossil fuel dependence, particularly closing the 4 gigawatts remaining capacity in coal power plants, the increased electricity demand propelled by the electrification of the economic engines, and the maximum renewable energy resource utilization possible. Wrapping up this presentation, an independent and reasonable UNFC representation of solar projects in Chile is possible without the owner's direct involvement. This relies on a robust transparency program, Energía Abierta, which was demonstrated to be key in this research. A workflow is presented and it can be repeated, and even though it provided a high-level assessment, a relevant stakeholder map is created to be included in the betterment of the results. The value proposal of UNFC is demonstrated while providing a unique view that enables multi-project analysis and facilitates decision-making processes. A single system for all kinds of energy projects, comparison and tracking, and a positive impact on efficient resources management and stakeholder engagement. Thank you for your time and interest on this presentation. If you would like to get to know more details on this research, please don't hesitate to reach at me at enzoaconcha@gmail.com. Bye for now.